hello to everyone and welcome back. Liverpool 12th Man is here with Lee and JK in the house. Shout out to everyone that is joining us. If you're joining us today, we've got one of those episodes that I think is going to be another one of those, interesting story type situations. But for those that are joining us after that, very, very tough shootout for Egypt to progress to their first round of 16 that they've ever had in their lifetime. And it's pretty incredible considering, yes, considering how Egypt has been, one of the better teams in the storied history of African football. So it is pretty wild.
Yeah, it's good to see that. I was happy for Salah. Nice, he scored the pen. Fair play to him.
Yeah, because it might be his last World Cup, mightn't it? Like, so, you know what I mean? It's good for him, won it. I don't really have feelings anywhere, one way or the other for Australia. They've never been that good at football, so they've never really paid much attention to football. It's cricket and rugby that they excel at. Australia and not football.
Yeah, cricket are the best.
Oh.
Used to
I
be
see how it is. You don't give any love for your, they are.
Hell no, not that. Like, I like Australians. They're down to earth, and I like the accent. It makes me laugh, and that they're quite sort of like basic people, and that like in a good way.
Right.
And I like that about them. It's just like, I don't care one way or the other if they're successful. The footy team, preferred Salah to get his moments in the sun while it's still there.
I thought maybe you'd be rooting for Canada and Canada doesn't have the UK. Australia still has the UK Jack, doesn't it? Still has.
Yeah, Union Jack. Yeah.
Union Jack. What? Yeah, it's the UK Jack. What? Union Jack. Excuse me.
I've got a couple of Australian friends.
Aussie
lads. Yeah, top lads, like real good guys and stuff. And
that's what I say. You were watching. You're in there rooting with them for our downfall.
What for?
When we played them in the knockout or not?
Yeah, in the group phase. Yeah.
I got you.
I want Turkey to win that group, bro. Yeah. But look, bro, if it's a Portugal-America final, I want America. Or a Portugal-France final, I want America. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's certain teams I don't want them to win.
Yeah. Big up to Red Armchair Supporter. Big up to South Asian Scouts here, by the way, too. And to anyone that's joining us right now. There's going to be another game, probably in another 40 minutes. We'll probably bleed a little bit into that game, but we'll try to get you off and over to that game as quickly as possible. But I think we need to talk about a little Liverpool football because, this summer is going to be connected to a lot of question marks being answered. Jarell Quansah could return. Stefan Bajčetić could be leaving. Richard Hughes is most likely leaving. The wage bill has definitely been reduced by Mohamed Salah leaving. Premier League transfer market has, I believe, absolutely lost its mind when I saw the Elliot Anderson fee. That is absolutely incredible what is being paid for players now. And we're talking about players that are good players. I'm not saying Elliot Anderson isn't a good player, but
no, he's a good player. But at that fee, it's like,
come on.
Do one, you know what I mean? Go right away this very moment. Good player, but for that fee. I keep thinking of E.T., the little boy, Elliot, and I hear Elliot's voice in my head saying, E.T., I'll be right there. And then E.T. quips, not at this bloody price, it won't be, lad.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It is.
I thought you meant that. Go on.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I thought you meant the lad, like he was the guy on the bike in ET. I thought you were going to say Elliot Anderson looks like him.
Oh no, it's just the name. Elliot's been making me think of ET, which was a big thing when I was a kid. The BMXs and that, like, I was a very small boy, very exciting and all that, like. But yeah, that is, yeah, it's a bit too much money. You can buy a bloody spaceship and go and visit ET for that, like, couldn't you?
I just think though that the fact is 116 million, you know, is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But all the same, I guess all these stories are going to point back to, I guess, one fundamental discussion, which is how should Liverpool build the next great side that we're going to be trying to put together. Also, should we be chasing these £100 million players, or should we be doing what I actually have like started to really not started, but I've certainly I'm into that phase of thinking, let's just stay grounded. I know people want us to go for these £100 million players, but let's maybe go for the 40, 50 million pound player that's going to be the player that we evolve into a world renowned talent, as opposed to trying to go for some, you know, £100 million player that ends up, you know, two-thirds of the season injured or something silly. I think we should just trust the academy, but we'll get more into that and as we go on. I'll start with this as well. I do hope the panel's going well, by the way. I didn't give a proper segment to say, make sure you guys are doing okay. You guys are all good, I hope, right? Lee, you good?
I'm not laughing at Hylo's comments about McAllister's scary numbers. Nothing scared him that much since. No scary movies as scary as that. He was poor, wasn't he? And I was a big McAllister fan. Hitherto, the kick-off of last season and what we got from him last season, it just weren't good enough. And like we all thought he's not fit, so I can understand it at first. But then, like, he got fit, you know, and it just weren't good enough. I don't know. Maybe he could have a rebirth under Iraola. That it could be good news for him, but I'm struggling to think how. It's just the mobility, the lack of mobility with him, lack of pace and mobility, and that. I'm not sure we can accommodate that. But you know, maybe we can. I don't know.
I guess we'll see. I mean, I still have faith in McAllister, but I know some people have lost the. I mean, it's one of those cases where the market is so exaggerated in the pricing that you have to overspend, especially if whether it's a Premier League player going to another Premier League club, whether that's an extra tax, whether it's an outside, RB Leipzig style team selling one of their prize assets away, they're going to up the price to some astronomical fee. And it's still the same thing about that. There's no guarantees for any of these players. There's no guarantee, especially when you have a player that played in another league, if they're going to be able to adapt to the Premier League, or even if they're going to be able to adapt to the system that you play, But it's just one of those cases. And I know I saw South Asian Scousers say we don't go for £100 million players. I mean, I would certainly disagree with the fact that we've gotten two. We not only went for one £100 million player, we went for two in the same window in the summer just passed. But I mean, that's what I'm referring to, at least. You might be referring to something else, so you can definitely elaborate on that. But I wanted to start with a broad topic, which is we're definitely going through this period where we're rebuilding this team. It's probably the most significant rebuild since Jurgen Klopp came to this club. I know some might put it on what we've done, but I think that was like maybe phase one, what we did last summer, because obviously now that we've started to do this rebuild, now we have to finish the project, And when you really think about it, this isn't just about replacing players. It's about replacing leaders on this team. We've now just watched Robbo leave. We've watched Salah leave. We now have a case where, Ali is possibly, going to be moving on either maybe this year, maybe next year, most likely next year. We have a situation where maybe even VVD moves on at some point. I know that we talked about that story yesterday about him possibly being entertained by AC Milan. But do you believe Liverpool have had a good summer so far with just I know we only have really one signing and a couple of, sprinklings here and there of youth academy players. Where is the gauge? Is it 25% done? Are we 40% done? In the sense of being an acceptable summer for you. Lee, where is that for you? And then JK, if you can answer the same question.
We've only got moving out so far. So, although Xhaka's arriving as a guy we haven't seen before, he'll be a new signing for us. Yes, so we got them two done, but significant amount of work remains to be done for us to get back to where we were and where we should be, which is challenging for titles. But I believe we can do that. We've just got to find the right players. I'm happy enough for us to take our time this summer. Ideally, you want it done quickly, and we've got the players now, but I'm happy for us to take as long as it needs this window to identify the right players, and bring them in. I'm not overly concerned with what our rivals are doing. I'm looking at it have a cursory glance over at what they're doing, but that's about it. I'm just interested in our summer, and I think if we buy well, we'll be here waiting for those teams who have improved themselves, such as Arsenal, maybe City, the others, Tottenham, United will undoubtedly buy players. So we'll be ready for it if we get our signings right. I would say we need definitely three more, at least three more, possibly four new signings.
What would you say if you were giving us a grade for it right now as to what's the first semester grade of what we're going through? Out of a score out of 10, what would you give us so far? And if you had to go even further, what's going to be the signature? What player out there? What's the one signing you're looking forward to that can make it a 10 out of 10 summer signing for us? It's a tough question, I know, but
for me, yeah. So that one, yeah.
If you want to think about it, maybe JK, if you have an answer.
No. I'll tell what it is with me. I can't say the exact player, but I think if we get the midfielder right, the DM that we all think we need, that can play with Gravenberch and relieve Gravenberch of the defensive duties that he's got, because he can still help and defend. He's still got instincts that can help him as a partner for the DM. But that's what I want to see. I want to see a really solid, good DM, and that's possibly the most important signing that we have to make out of the signings we need. Yes, we all know we need another winger. We didn't get Diamandi, and so on and so forth. But I think the DM is vitally important because we do have Leone and Xhaka this season, where we did, obviously we didn't last season. We do need another centre back, but we've got Leone and Xhaka and Virgil. And Joe, can't forget Joe. But you know what I'm saying? First choice, and some of the first choice here. So, I think the DM, the midfield edition is vitally important, and a lot of our judge how successful this window has been will be based upon who we get, if it pays off with the DM.
Okay. What about you, JK? I'm just reading some of the comments too.
For me, out of 10, I'll give it a 2 or a 3 out of 10 so far, because we've only got 2 lads in. One we already bought last year, I think, or in the summer winter window. There's too many positions in that team that need to get sorted. The wingers, a DM, and bless up Norman in the chat as well. Healy Oil.
Yes, big up, big up. Yeah.
Good to see you, man. Yeah, so for me, it's a long journey yet.
Hi, Lord.
We need another 4 players, I would say. Another 2 wingers, a DM, and a right back, maybe. But for me, a right back comes if there's time and we've got everything else sorted. Because, like, for me, we've got Conor Bradley and Frimpong, who have had the summers off to recuperate and sort their hamstring injuries out for Frimpong and stuff. So for me, there's a long journey left for that transfer window.
Well, you just said right back. You said center back, right? You're both saying DM. I take it DM is your top priority, is it? Or
yeah, for me, DM, yeah.
I saw.
The alternative to Diamande is important as well. That we bring in a good player, so we've got what we need to start the season. But I am very, very interested, and I've been since before the window opened, before last season even ended. I was thinking about a DM and who we could have. Right. I haven't got any names of who I prefer, but there's got to be players out there that can do that job and do it well for us. Norm mentioned Manu Konaté there, didn't he? He was someone we were linked with before. I mean, he is a good player. There's no doubt about that. Like, we had a good look at him when we were last linked with him, as a fan base, looked at his videos and that, found out a bit more about him. He just looked to be a good player. It just depends what Iraola's idea of how his midfield should be. Because he'll look at last season and he'll realise that one of the reasons we conceded a record amount of goals, the most we've ever conceded in the Premier League, was because the midfield were like paper tigers, to use a phrase. Big names they were, but teams were just dominating us in midfield. It was too easy to just get on top of us and score against us and put us on the back foot, and that's got to change.
Yeah, agreed. It's just something of to talk about the young Moroccan player for DM has somewhat cooled. It sounds like we might not be pursuing that. And now names that were, I know the Quansah deal is a deal where it becomes more palatable maybe even next year rather than this summer, because next summer it gets to a place where the buyback clause is even less than it is now, but still it would be a case where maybe someone else steps up and says they're interested in his talents. Maybe someone else comes in and says, or maybe he doesn't want to move back. Maybe he decides Germany is the place for him to stay.
Well, he got the nod over a lot of other people to go there, to go to the World Cup, and that's done him no harm. Yeah, he's hardly featured, but neither is Stones or the others very much so just to get there, it's done. That's been good for him. It's been a good move for him. It's a strange one with Jarell because he's not long out the door, and we all thought Gay was coming in, so we weren't too upset when it happened, were we? But looking back on it now, it was definitely an error last summer to let him go before he came in. But it went ahead, and we'll have to see now if he ever comes back to Liverpool or to the Premier League. But I think he'd be all right where he is. I think he'd be enjoying himself there, and the fact he was picked for the World Cup, will probably convince him of that he did the right thing in leaving for the Bundesliga.
Do you think us JK, because I know he's watching German football, do you think it's a case where the move to Germany was necessary for Quansah to maybe make this progression in his career, or was it more so that he was just in my opinion at least, harshly done in by Slot, and that somewhat stifled his progression? Because he was a player that was on a very upward slant towards being a preferred center half for us. He's He was someone that was occasionally getting the looks at by Klopp when he was with Klopp, but also primarily it does say something that he's been able to do what he's done in the Bundesliga, and he's been able to do what he needs to do to get on that English team, the England team, and make the most of that opportunity.
Look at what's his name, Sancho. A lot of English sort of players have gone over, smashed it. Not really sort of carried on after, but at the end of the day, Quansah, bro, he's in the England setup. Is he injured? I think he got injured in the game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. But all in all, if he stayed at Liverpool and Slot weren't there, it would have been a different situation. We'd probably stayed there. And it would have gave us another option throughout the season. It was just like the fee Leverkusen were willing to pay, 35 million or something.
Yeah, it was. It was 35 million.
Willing to pay it.
We're basically going to be giving that money back and giving them 35 million to get the player, in essence.
Yeah, mad.
Yeah, that's mad.
For me, if the manager's like, you know what, I don't like Quansah's attitude, because you've got to understand that as well. A lot of it is to do with what happens on the pitch. Quansah at that age probably wanted to dust around a little bit. You know what I mean, bro? So him moving away from England and going to Germany, for me, was probably the best thing he could have done. We don't know. Why do you reckon a lot of players don't make it? What do you think it is, bro?
Well, it's a strange one. A lot of our players didn't used to pick the Bundesliga. If they went abroad, they go to other places, but more are now making a good go of it. I think it's good for the England team. The players like Gordon's gone to Barca, Quansah's gone to Leverkusen, etc., etc. There's a lot. Rashford went to Barcelona, and Kane's gone to Munich. All this stuff for England. I remember England managers sometimes why England are never successful in terms of actually getting over the line and winning a trophy. And some of them have said, I think it's the way like our players all play in the English league rather than going abroad and playing. That helps the coaches of other nations, that their players go out, and get experience of different types of football in different countries. It was always something that was mentioned as not being a good thing for the England manager, that so many of his players just didn't go abroad and play and get the experience that way, in the way that like Klinsmann's or Moller's might have done, even Wheeler as well. He's another one who went to Italy, didn't he? Which is a little bit different, yeah. And I think it probably will pay dividends in the long term if Tuchel keeps the job, if he wants to stay in the job and they want to keep him, it'll help him out.
Is it make or break? Not to cut you off, I was just going to ask real quick, because since you just mentioned Tuchel, is it make or break for Tuchel? Like, as in, is it Tuchel has to win the World Cup?
No. I mean, getting to the final would be something like going to the final would be something like.
Or even, so it's finals or bust, like as in he has to get to the finals for it to be.
Yeah, we've never been to the final, mate, apart from when we bloody won it. Like, the one time we've been to the final, yes, we won it. I mean, we were at Wembley, but do you know what I'm saying? So, to get us to the final goes down. But, I mean, I think he's a little bit more, than Southgate, a bit more of a cuter coach than Southgate, that when it comes to the sharp end of a tournament, there's more chance of doing it under Tuchel than there was under Southgate, perhaps. But Southgate himself done well. He's done better than any England manager had done in ages. The people before Southgate were all crap. Foreign and domestic, everyone they tried was crap. Since like Sven-Göran Eriksson, probably. And Southgate rectified that. But I do like the fact that Tuchel is an experienced coach. Like, he's got his sauce, like, won the Champions League for Chelsea, like, over City, which delighted me. Even although I hate Chelsea and hated seeing them win it, but I wanted them to win that one, and he did. So thank you, Thomas Tuchel, and thank you, Kai Havertz.
It is a tough road. I mean, regardless. I mean, England has to go through Mexico, which is not going to be an easy matchup. Mexico's very good at home. they'll have to meet. Either a undervalued Norway team, and then if they play their cards right, a decent Brazil team. When they get out of their headspaces, they can be a decent Brazil team. They'll have to go through. If they get past Mexico, they'll have to go through Brazil or Norway next, and then they'd have to either see maybe like a Ghana or Colombia, or maybe even in Argentina if they make it that far. It's definitely going to be an interesting little run for them.
The Colombia-Ghana game's interesting. Colombia are one of those sides, and always have been, that they really impress you. Sometimes you see them, sometimes when they're in full flow, and you're like, that's a good side. That, but they've never quite made the step up at the World Cup. Have they? In fact, they've often more or less fell flat on their faces. Like when they've got there, which is disappointing for a nation like that, because they've had some great talent, like over the last 30 years at least. You've had some great talent, Colombia. So that's an interesting side, that one, them and Ghana. I think it'll be tight. It's going to be a tight game. Like, look, at this stage of the competition, they're going to be tight games. Like, nobody's going to walk away with a tie at this stage of the competition. But it'd be interesting, that one. Especially for Nalansi.
Yeah, I know. That's why I didn't want to really test that nerve there, because it's gonna be a tough one. Chris Angel obviously very much rooting on Colombia. One of our own, Nalante, very much obviously rooting on Ghana. It's gonna be a tough. That's gonna be that's probably one of the better match. Yeah, Fozzie as well. Or Fozzie's from Ghana?
No, Quasi.
Quasi. I think it said Fozzie. Okay.
No, not funny.
I know. Let's just say I thought Fozzie's from Somalia. But yeah.
Yeah, because going back to what we were saying about Quansah, it's like a lot of young players don't make it, bro, because of what happens off the field, and they want to have a couple of girlfriends and this and that, and then they end up fading out the game. And I think Quansah leaving England was a blessing in disguise for him. He had a decent season at Leverkusen. That Tuchel took him to the World Cup, bro. When he left Liverpool and went to Leverkusen, none of us said, yeah, he's going to the World Cup next year. You know what I mean? None of us really. We'd be like, oh, that's done. But he's fair play to him. He stood up. He's played pretty well. I've seen a few games of him playing for Leverkusen. So fair play to him. Scored a couple of goals as well. I didn't like that. Was a big major warning red flag for me under Arne Slot. I didn't like the way he handled, and I think a few guys in the chat saying, for me, if you don't handle your own players like your own family, get out of the club, bro. Because for me, any Liverpool manager, if he has not got that connection with every player like his family, then he just treats them like, oh, you come off against Ipswich, Quansah, put your clothes back on, Konaté, get ready, you're playing. Look, bro, at the end of the day, we won that match. Okay. Imagine we lost it would have been worse. But for me, Slot, his main problem was he had no love in him. Simple as, show a bit of love. Fuck your career, bro. You know, he was so adamant about his career and how people viewed him as a football guy. He forgot how to be human. And that was his downfall. So for me, I want to see players play. Quansah, for me, he was getting quoted as an ex-Virgil and this, that, and the other. Next second, he's going to Leverkusen.
Yeah,
what's
VVQ.
VVQ
was his nickname, right?
Mad.
And I mean, look, it's one less year that he could be, obviously taking in the experience from a VVD could pass on to him. But yeah, I think what's going to be interesting too is Liverpool freed up a lot of money, $36 million million pounds, excuse me, in wages following the departure of obviously Mohamed Salah, with Andy Robertson leaving, and also with Ibu leaving. It's now some money to spend, or maybe some money to
give it to charity.
I doubt. Well, you never know what they'll do with it. But why I'm putting it in that realm of scope is because, it's not the question, can Liverpool afford to spend? It's more, where should they spend? And there's players on this team, and I'd love to hear what the chat and you at the panel have to say too. There's players on this team. Ibrahima Salah. Gravenberch just got re-upped, so we're not really worried about him being re-signed. But your Ibrahima Salah are coming up on that extension period. Where do you stay or do you go? Do you lock him down for a good 5-6 year contract, or do you move on? McAllister, in the same boat. I already know some of your answers on McAllister. Don't worry, I already know that. But it is a case where, like, that money, if you do up these people's salaries, that's just less money you have technically to really spend on other players, right? So should the money go towards replacing players like Salah directly, or should they go towards re-upping these players that we have to make decisions on? What's your choices? JK, what's your choice?
Could you repeat the question again, bro?
The money that we're saving with all these departures, do you then say, okay, because this is how I look at it. I'll give you a somewhat explanation. When a player leaves, let's say hypothetically, I remember when Bobby left, he was on something like 160,000 or something like that a week, right? That's now possibly 160,000 pounds you can spend on another player's salary. Or that's now money that you can then take and say, okay, well, I don't know, Curtis Jones wants a bigger salary, or he wants a better contract. Well, now I can take 80,000 of that 160 I was given to Roberto and up and offer that towards Curtis Jones. I know I'm using old players. I'm just making references. As in, those are the circumstances. Do you take this money that we're $36 million per year in wages that we are going to be reacquiring? Do you take that money and bring in new players? They're going to ask for high wages, ask for big salaries. Or do you reinvest it in the players we have here and make sure players like Ibrahima Salah, make sure Curtis Jones or players like that don't have not only no reason to leave, but are securely taken care of financially?
For me, there's always going to be enough money there for a Szoboszlai to get a pay rise, for him to sign that new deal. You know what I mean, bro? Mm-hmm. Like for me, the money we're going to save with Salah, Robertson, and Konaté's money, that's like a good 6 people's wages, bro.
Exactly.
Salah was on 400.
Yeah. You could get 2 very good players at 200,000 pounds a week.
Each. There you go.
Each.
There you go.
And rather than one player, you have 2 quality players. Or you could bring in a player that's going to that's going to demand close to that. I mean, hypothetically, Diamande, I know he's going to have 1 season. It's not a done deal. He's going to PSG. It's not even a done deal that he stays at the club he is. But all the same, hypothetically, if you're to bring in a Diamande, or maybe bring in a Barcola. I'll look up what Barcola is making actually in a second. But like they're going to want pay raises. So you're going to be in that realm of 250, 280, something like those along those lines. What are you thinking? Let me look up. I'll look up.
We have got a bit of work to do in terms of time players down to contracts, but not overpaying them. We've got to watch our step, with the wage bill going up and up. I mean, we've offloaded Mo, yeah, and he was our biggest earner, but we've got plenty of other players on, good money now, like us. So we've got to watch our step, with the overall wage bill as we go along. But I'm sure we will. Like, if we plan it right and do things right, we can keep within the guidelines and do what we can afford to keep ourselves at the top, or as near to the top as possible.
Okay. JK, how about you? You still thinking about it?
Yeah, look, for me, bro, as I said, like when a player's doing well, the club always takes care of that, where they increase the wages. So for me, I'll be splitting that. When you look at it, Salah 400, Robertson was probably on about 200.
Konaté, I think he's on, no, I don't think he was on 200. I think he's on like 160 or something like that.
160. Konaté is probably on 120, I think. 100.
Defenders don't normally make as much as other players on the pitch lately. I know they have been seeing massive increases in their salaries, but normally they don't. It's more offensive players. But I'll give you a comparison to the Barcola is currently on 120,000. So for him to probably sign, it's going to cost us probably like 200K at least. That's probably like a starting point for him. Usually you just double. An easy way to figure out what the player is going to want to make a move is like they're going to want to double their wages in one way or another.
Yeah, of course.
Likely. It's the easiest way to like kind of look at it. It's not always a 1-for-1 or a like-for-like scenario with that, but
yeah, but see, for me, like that Diamande affair, that's why I never got excited about it. I've seen fans cheering like they've brought him and his cousins as well. You know what I mean? Like the way some fans are going on. I was like, bro, until that guy's got a shirt on that's official on the Liverpool Twitter page or whatever, Instagram, YouTube, I don't really care about Diamande. And what's happened now? I've watched his games in the World Cup. He's played okay, and he's a good player. Don't get me wrong, but he just said the next day, bang, he wants to go to PSG. Don't get attached to any speculation players, man. You're gonna get disappointed. You know, look at these two guys have come in already. Not one player told me we're after these two guys. Which content creator told you about these two guys have come in now? Not one. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm not getting excited about the transfer windows no more. Back in the days, it was exciting. Why? Because there was no Twitter about where people are just writing bullshit. Think, you know what? I wake up today and I think, oh, let's link this guy to us. I just write it. You know, fuck off, you cunt. But it's just like the way these people are, man. Like, come on. And they've destroyed the fun part of football transfers. It used to be it was a buzz. It was like, whoa, can't wait for the transfer window to open, because why? You would never get no speculation news from anywhere bar the newspapers, and the newspapers didn't have enough space in their newspaper to write all the bullshit the modern day football content creators are writing on Twitter. So they had to write facts. Bang, Liverpool are after this guy, and it looks like the deal could be done. Simple as. It was no long, we're after this guy. Come on, man. Too much news, too much speculation, too much ifs and if this could happen, if this could happen. Nah, man. If another one when this striker gets injured, what we're gonna do? Come on, man. If Virgil's gonna get injured last season, people were saying if Virgil's gonna get injured, what we're gonna do? Bro, the guy stayed fit all fucking season. He was tired. Yeah, but he stayed fit, you know?
Right. Gets very little credit for that as well. Played every minute that you could play for our team. But yet he's done, he's dusted, and he's like, and he's this and that. It's kind of weird hearing some of the comments that are being made. But Norm was saying we needed 5 in without selling this summer. He felt center half, DM, right back, winger, and a winger forward, winger and a forward, and even a left back or is it Tsimikas.
Yeah, I can't believe Robertson's gone to Tottenham.
All good questions. Yeah. All very
Can't believe it, bro.
Yeah.
How did we let Robertson go to Tottenham? I don't understand that one.
Because Spurs right now is a retirement home, apparently.
Yeah, but they're spending big, bro. I think they got the Fernandez lad in, who I wanted from West Ham. I was like, let's go and buy him. I like him. Right. Tottenham, I got him, I think. Yeah, man, 2 relegation battles, and still they can pull the player in, and that's for me the London pool. Arsenal and Tottenham have got that. Chelsea even. They've got that London pool, and they use it for their full benefit. Like
they've taken Tottenham, for instance. Like, I mean, they've just had 2 shocking Premier League seasons where they finished lower in 2 consecutive seasons than I can ever remember a Tottenham team finishing in the top division. And I mean, not just the Premier League. Before that, when I was a kid, Tottenham never finished that low twice.
Never.
So they're trying to rectify that, aren't they, by spending money. And they've still got that, even though they've had those terrible 2 seasons, they've still got a pull. They've got enough pull to get players like Robbo to off there, like, and you know, the others that they buy. They've got Van Acker. Have they bought Fernandez? Is that done?
No.
Yeah, I think so, bro.
I don't think it is done, but I thought it was. I think it's on the verge of being done. I mean, I'll check for you.
If Arsenal didn't win the league, would Tottenham be spending so big now? Let's look at it. Their neighbours in North London. Oh, they're not down the road just in the league.
That's a good point, JK. That is a good point, that mate. You know, it's gonna hurt, isn't it, to see Arsenal winning the league, like, and they're doing their level best, like, to rectify this for their fans.
Yeah,
you're right.
Before the fans start moaning.
Right.
Yeah.
Fernandez is a done deal. $85 million.
It's done, bro. Well, that's too much for me. Like, I like him, but is he worth 85 million?
No.
That's me looking at the account side of football again. I said I wouldn't go back there, but
you're paying $85 million for a relegated player.
Twice.
A player on a relegated team. Twice relegated, yes. He's been relegated twice, actually.
I mean, it's not his best play for them 2 teams, is it? Like, he is a very good player from what I've seen of him. I like him. But it's not like you're bringing. Are you going to be like, so? Is he bringing some type of like winning mentality with him or something? You know, you're not going to be like, so tell me what it's like to be relegated twice. I mean, especially as Spurs, they've witnessed almost being relegated twice themselves.
He's got a 3rd time lucky now, bro, with Fernandez there.
Yeah, 3rd time's a charm.
Well, I mean, they've already got midfielder. Basuma, you've got Palina. You got what's his name? The Uruguayan. I quite like that Uruguayan fella. What's his name? I forgot his name.
Bentancur.
That's him, yeah. Bentancur. The one that Mourinho.
Yeah, I wish we brought him. They got him.
I think he's decent. Bentancur in a better team. He could be better. I've always liked him because he was all right. He's a little shit like on the pitch and that, like, you know what I mean. Remember his antics when he's got cropped and he was kicking him saying "get up." I didn't like his antics, but you know, you'd expect that sometimes with South Americans. You sort of give them a bit of license to act like knobheads sometimes, South Americans, because they're such good footballers.
Right. I'm not really like a Bentancur fan. He's a good player, but he's, he falls into that like Luis Suarez like realm where he's like, he's a good player, but if I had to choose all over again, would I want Luis Suarez to be a part of Liverpool? I kind of really wouldn't. I know
for me,
that's wild, but just the fact that because he's Bentancur, I'll just land by saying Bentancur. The reason why I say that is because Bentancur, and much like Suarez, he did some racist type stuff.
Oh, the thing with Heung-Min Son, he said
he did against his own
look
player.
alike. Yeah, they look the same, something like people from South.
Like that's like your own teammate.
Well, it's a little bit bloody stupid, isn't it? How can you not know not to say that? How could it be that different? And so I believe it is different there and there. They don't look at things exactly the way we do racially and go, we go off our heads over things like that. It's not exactly the same day, but you'd still think the man would have had enough sense not to say that, of all things. But, you know, some players haven't got the sense they were born with.
Yeah, Suarez is the best player I've ever seen with my own two eyes live, and that. Gerrard as well. But Suarez, man, I don't know. I think because of his attitude, it made him the player he was. That fighter and stuff. But sometimes you got to use your brain a bit in that way of common sense, you know, not to do certain things and that. Yeah.
Romero's another one in that vein, and that he loses his head too much. Romero, he's never said anything weird that I've heard. Romero, but he loses his head too easily, and for Premier League football, it's not ideal because he is a good defender.
He's a good defender, exactly. I mean, you're talking about a defender that plays on one of the best international teams in the world, is one of their main defenders as well, is a captain for Tottenham. You know, I don't know what to make of the whole Tottenham. I don't know what to make of the whole Tottenham circumstances with you know, with the purchases that they're making, the big name signings that they're making. Is it going to make them? Is it going to? Are they going to be back in the relegation swell of things? I doubt it. I think the coach is good enough to not have them in that place, but still,
they're keeping up with the Joneses. See their transfer window. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seems to me like what they're doing, considering Tottenham are making these big expenditures, and they're making these big transfer fees or big transfers with what money? They're not in Champions League. Despite what it might, I actually read an article that was a very interesting article that spoke on the sense that people talk about making Europa, making even the Conference League as being something of a. It actually costs Premier League teams more to be in Europa than to not be in Europa, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But again, Champions is basically for most teams. This is Champions League, especially a caliber team like us, Big Six type teams. It's Champions League or bust. You have to make Champions League, period. And they're not in Champions League, and they're going out for Tonali's. They're going out for, you know, Fernandez is at 85 million. They're going out for they didn't have to. There's a free for Robbo, but they're still going to have to spend a nice bit of a wage to keep him comfortable. You know, there's like all these different players that they're bringing in. Yes, they are good players, but it is going to be. They have to make Champions League next season, or we're probably going to be hearing something about, you know, what's going on with, you know, the same kind of rumors or murmurs that happened when Everton didn't do well when they splashed some cash and ended up having to, you know, cook the books a little bit. So it's going to be interesting. Everybody's still talking about Suarez. If Liverpool could only make one major signing, what is that signing for you? Is it a winger, defensive midfielder, center back, or right back?
If we can only have one, I'd choose the midfielder.
You only have one major. We're talking about, you know, 80 million, 90 million, even if not even 100 million pound player.
Oh, well,
you only have one
I think
major
maybe we could get a DM for cheaper than that. So maybe the winger would be the major signing, the major outlay, whoever that is.
Wait, Elliot Anderson is a DM, right?
He is.
And he went for 85 million. It's a big ton of money.
Yeah, he is English though, like, you know what I mean?
Excuse me, 85 million. He went for 116 million, actually.
Well, yeah, it's going to be 116, isn't it? which is strange. Like
85 million. I was just thinking of Fernandez. Yeah. That's why I'm saying that. Fernandez was 85 million.
Yeah. That's a lot of money. There's a lot of money because he hasn't had. He's had what, 2 seasons in the Premier League and been relegated both times. So paying 80 for Buddy is a good player. So we'll have to wait and see with him whether it works for them. But I think he is the type of player probably that they need at the moment. The type of midfield maybe they've been lacking. But again, we'll have to wait and see. But also Van Hecker, who splashed out on Van Hecker, haven't they?
I did hear that too. That's the reason why it's so. That's why reason why it ends up being like the record. It ends up being the record signing for the Premier League. The fact that Elliot Anderson is the record signing in the Premier League is bonkers. No pun intended.
Yeah, it's mad.
It is mad. 130 million is what Norm is saying it'll be eventually. I heard that too. It's going to be, with all the add-ons and everything else. The sheer fact that, I'll tell you this much. There's an article I read that I was going to make it into a segment, but I didn't. But it was because it's about Manchester City. And that is the sheer fact of they had to make a move for someone because apparently Rodri is injured again. And it's a bad enough injury that he's going to need surgery.
Who's that, bro?
Rodri.
What, is that the World Cup then, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, didn't know that.
I didn't. I assumed he was leaving. That's why they were buying Anderson. I never thought that they were buying him to play next to Rodri. I always thought he was being bought to replace Rodri and that Rodri would be going back to Spain. But he might not be going anywhere.
I don't think he's going to be going anywhere. It's the same. I mean, I don't even think, I don't know what Real Madrid's, arc of what they want to get accomplished is because there's a report that they've passed on Enzo, for instance. Enzo was pushing and twerking, trying to get his move to Real Madrid, and Real Madrid said, no, thank you. So, would you take Enzo at this team?
From Chelsea?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Top player.
I don't mean Enzo. I didn't mean Enzo for Ferrari. You thought I was talking about?
No, but for me, that Enzo from Chelsea, bro, he's a top little player, man. Trust me. I watched a lot of him. He's a good little player.
Yeah.
Plays next to McAllister today. Just seen an interview with Klopp. It's from today, about an hour ago now. And he said, he stated on the interview, the guy asked him straight, look, Nagelsmann's gone. And the FA of Germany have said they've talked to you. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, can you confirm that? And he's like, yeah, I can confirm that. So it looks like that's coming from him. So I love to see Wirtz playing with it with Klopp. Woof, it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good for us, I think, to be honest with you.
Exactly. Why? Because Klopp knows him. Listen, you're gonna go back to Liverpool after this. You got to do this at Liverpool. You got to do this at Liverpool. Bang.
The things and tips and skills and everything else or development he's gonna get. It's gonna be good. It's like you're gonna have two coaches that are defensive, counterattacking, intensity-minded coaches that no matter which camp you're in, Wirtz is getting skilled in the ways. They were saying that about okay.
Yeah, then you reckon see when we look at football from the outside and then you see all these players and they're not having great seasons and they look sad or whatever. There's no people at the club who are they're like the in-betweeners of the players and say the management who keep things sound, just normal guys who probably not even interested in football really, just interested in keeping the new players comfortable, get them settled in and talk to them what's wrong and that. Because I think a lot of players who go to big clubs from foreign countries and stuff, they're sold after a year and a half, and you're thinking, well, God, man, they pay you that much for him, and he's gone already, and this and that. Why? Because there's people at the club not doing their job. You know, Wirtz, for me, someone at the club should have said, you know what, Wirtz, let's do a what do you call like a face call with Jurgen, us three, me, you, and Jurgen, have a little chinwag. You know, bang, Jurgen would have said, Florian, how you doing? This, that. It's great to see you at Liverpool. Great club and this. Simple. There's no common sense at the club no more, bro. At Liverpool. I realise that. I don't know what the fuck Edwards does and gets paid for. No. Like, for me, if he's head of football, isn't he there to keep things sweet with the players? Like, ain't he there to keep new signings actually? I know that's the manager's job, of course, but keep the new look. It took Szoboszlai nearly into his third season for him to show the sort of type of player he is. It took him 3 years, bro. That's too long for me. Yeah, why? Too much off-field things going on with him. Girlfriend, this and that, getting married, and that's for me. We need to sort that out.
Yeah, it could be good that Klopp's Germany manager, for the sake of Burton, that he'll be able to give Florian a little bit of insight maybe onto how he can improve his performances in the Premier League, or just, make a success of his, Liverpool career, his Premier League career, rather. Like, he'll probably have quite a bit of insight to pass on to him and tips to give him, advice, maybe hints. How, I don't know. Just a bit of cajole and like help him along, sort of thing. It could pay dividends for us to have Klopp as his international boss.
The comment Norm left was, he says he generally doesn't see modern day players as good technically as players from the past. Yes, they're quick and athletic, but building with ball, no. And you know what? Again, I guess something that the comment is spot on by Norm, but what I also see about why I think that is the case is something we talked about a couple of days ago, and that was like, I really believe that the Pep Guardiolas of the world, the people to play, the system oriented. You play this system. I don't care that you're talented, or creative. I just need you to play my system, type mentality is what we see now more than not. Like, as in very few times are we able to see a team just go on the pitch and be like, oh, there's 11 all-stars on that pitch right there, and they're just going to be able to be the magicians that they could be simply by the rolling the ball out there. Nowadays it's about like being either I think for instance that's the reason why Haaland has struggled so much. I think Haaland has struggled so much because Haaland has some very, I believe, technically gifted players. However, they just are so systematic the way that Koeman ran his club or ran the team, that like it took away the imagination from the team. It took away from the creativity, and that's just something I at least I believe. It's like so often I'm a person that grew up on Brazilian football being the style of football that I would most want to emulate. Nowadays, you don't really. Brazil doesn't even play like Brazil sometimes nowadays, So,
like for me, bro, like you produce music, I produce music, and there's a lot of people produce music, but it's like you do the hard work at the studio. Like you're there, you're getting the bass sound right, you're getting everything, the snare, everything in place, the levels when the echo of the woman's voice in the sound, and you do all the hard work there. And so when you DJ the day after, that's when you do with your freestyle. You start playing the tunes and people are dancing, and that's how I see football, bro. Like, you do all the hard work on the training ground, all that technical stuff, but on the day of the match, that's when the freedom comes into the game. I'm going to give a better example. That's like, for me, how football should be. That's why a lot of freedom's out of football, because managers are so adamant in showing the world who they are that they can get paid later on with the bigger club. It's like a lot has to do with that job security, because when a manager's surviving relegation after he's just brought his team up from the Championship into the Premier League, his main objective is to survive.
Right. No, it is. Yeah. No, I just think that, I just think that a lot of these coaches coach the creativity out of players. I will go as far as to say, I know people were speaking about, for instance, like Lucho not being able to do some of the things that I see him do for Colombia, for instance, and I'm like, yeah, that's because he is in a more, he's in a more structured situation when it comes to a team like Liverpool in the Premier League. Allow for him to be. I say that why I'm bringing that reference up is, I think some of the best football I saw Lucho play for Liverpool was the first couple of months he was with the team. When he got here, he was out there and he wasn't like refrained from being able to just basically, do all these crazy moves, out there and just do all the, the cumbia style football that he was doing. Now, but then more and more, he got structured into, you have to be in this position on the pitch. You have to be, have this spacing. You have to have this. You have to have that. It takes away from your ability to kind of be the creative player. At least this is my perspective, at least, to be the creative player that you can be, and very few players are going to be given that ability, or that levity to do so. You have your Ronaldos, you have your Messis. Yes, you're not going to tell them exactly they need to do this, do that, or they're not going to play, but that's at least what how I look at it. But anyways,
yeah, there's been a lot of talk about this overcoaching and that, and Guardiola copped a lot of flack for supposedly coaching the flair out of certain players like Grealish or whoever you care to name, who they said it about. And I can see it. There is a grain of truth in it. There's a grain of truth in it. I think Pep Guardiola was a good thing for the Premier League when he arrived, and his rivalry with Klopp made the Premier League brilliant for years on end. It went on for years.
Absolutely agree with that. Yes.
Yeah, and then it comes to a point where the product wasn't as good, and we had this inverted crap, and we picked it up off them, and other clubs started doing it. And I think towards the end of his reign, he might have started having a negative influence on the Premier League, possibly, which I wouldn't like to, go down in history as the man to say that, because he is such a great coach and that, and his British football brain's just off the charts. But there is an aspect of Pep football that could be a bit boring at times.
It's you said. I'll give two examples. You said one of them. And that is Grealish. Grealish was creative. Imagine he had the ability to be a creative, and I think, if anything, the reason why he was so good initially before his move was because he was given that freedom before he made the move to City. But when he made the move to City, he was put into this hey, you got to be in this, in this box, and do not sway and sway out of this box. Otherwise, you'll end up having what happened to him, which is he got to seeing the bench more often than seeing the pitch. And the other example I was going to say is Germany. There's a lot of people in Germany that credit the way that the Bundesliga kind of started developing, or having Pep Guardiola at arguably the biggest club in Germany, and obviously having the access to so many of the biggest stars of Germany hampered the way that they play football rather than benefit them more, where it was more of a hampering than a benefit. But that's not to say he's not a great coach to get you results and the likes, because he is. He's a great coach when it comes to that. But maybe I'm going too far. People are going to probably think I'm just hating on Pep Guardiola. Hey, this is the same person. This is the same person that wanted Pep Guardiola to be the next Liverpool coach. So
I remember that. I was like, bro, are you cool? I was like, bro, what's happening here?
Yeah.
You were proper like, yeah, man. Oh no,
I thought
really
it just,
like
I just thought it was a nice. It would have been a nice, like, you know how they say like the villainous arc of a story type situation.
Mm-hmm.
The redemption story of Pep Guardiola going from being like, the under investigation Pep Guardiola to now being, the redeemed Liverpool Red coach that's doing it the right way. No, I don't know. It would have been a good story, I thought.
Well, I hope now he's left and that he speaks highly of us in the future, about his rivalry with us and with Jurgen in particular. And I mean, I suppose it carries on into Slot's era. Like, we took the league off them, didn't we? And now Arsenal have took it off us. But I hope he speaks of us kindly in the future now he's left. And I mean, you always sensed an air of eccentricity about the man, didn't you? With Guardiola, we heard about his famous last minute. He'd change his mind at the last minute and then change it again and then change it again 5 minutes later. We heard all this stuff about his eccentricities and that, idiosyncrasies, which I quite liked to hear. Because, when you're that serious a football person, I suppose it affects your brain sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah, me and Lee sound similar, Kevin, because we probably born about an hour and a half away from each other.
It isn't that. It's not that far. Taking a car, Coventry and Liverpool, not far at all.
We'll talk about your
how about
at the
this?
End of the show.
Yeah. We will. What I was going to say quickly is, there's two players. I want to see what the reading the room is for the chat, and also even for the panel, what they feel. There was, I think this was on Redman TV. This certain player was suggested that we hijack. You know how players get sometimes. For instance, Lucho was supposed to be going to Spurs. It was supposed to be locked and loaded. It was supposed to be done, right? And then we had a conversation. Next thing you know, he's a Red. Hijacking players does happen. We've had our own players hijacked from us at times. I'm going to mention two players. I want to see how you guys feel about these two players. The Redman's TV one was this player. There's been a suggestion that we should try and go out and get Bruno G and bring him in to this Liverpool team. How would you feel about making concerted? What's that?
Sorry, I do like him. Sorry to jump in there. I do like him, Bruno, for sure.
Give me your feel. Give me your take then on that.
Fee wise, what would it go up to?
Let's see. I'll give me 1 second. I'll say I'd say 65 to 80 million.
What I would say about Bruno is there's
let's say 80 million. Let's say.
Yeah, there's no club on earth, is there, that Newcastle would less like to sell the man to, especially if they lose Tonali first, and then we were to come in and say we want Guimaraes. I mean, that's going to leave them without a midfield essentially, because they ain't got many. When one of them's out, there aren't that many. Still got Joe Linton, and friggin' I don't know what's that bloke's name. What's that guy? I can't even think of his name. One of their other like stand-in players, but they ain't got many midfielders. So if we was to take Bruno off them, it'd definitely sting. I mean, I don't care about their fans getting a cob on; they can sod off. But like, it'd be hard to get them, I think, to get the deal done because Newcastle would be so against it after the Isak affair. Just there's bad blood, isn't there? Like,
yeah, but bro, they didn't. I never seen no drama with Anthony Gordon. He was like, bang, it's done. He's fucking got a Barcelona top on. You understand my point there? It was like this Liverpool thing that I've never really seen that before, really, to that extent, what Isaac suffered. And I'm really disappointed in that. Like, Gordon has gone to Barcelona. Guimaraes might go to Arsenal. Guimaraes is going to walk straight in, bruv. He's at a World Cup now, yeah, whatever. But you won't see no fucking, what's that Geordie guy's name? Fake Geordie. Do a fucking hour-long show about.
Oh yeah. I know.
You know what I mean?
I know you're talking about. Yeah.
This is what I'm saying about football, man. They pick and choose. Like that's why we used to all have a soft spot for Newcastle. As Liverpool fans, we thought, you know what, they're on the same page as Scousers are because they're not in London. And when the Isaac thing happened, it taught me everything I needed to know about other clubs' football fans. I ain't got no soft spot for no club. I don't care who you are.
I mean,
I don't give a fuck. Liverpool gotta be
Newcastle it's 100 million that they're getting for Tonali.
Right? This is from Arsenal, yeah.
I'll say this too, and tell me your opinions on this. This is wild too. I mean, there's a lot of I've seen the True Geordie takes and everything else, and how they're up in arms about the fact that they missed out in the window of the Premier League where teams like your Manchester Cities that have bottomless assets to be able to dip into could really go out and just buy whoever they wanted to buy. And but now they're selling off some of their best assets. You got to recognize the fact that they just sold not only one of their best assets to us, and now it's Isak, but this season they sold Gordon, another one of their best assets. They've just sold Tonali for £100 million. Another one of their best assets. There's talks about Bruno G possibly moving on to Manchester United, another one of their quote unquote best assets. Excuse me. Where does Newcastle fall in this hierarchy of teams and future in this league? Like, as in, what is it with Newcastle and where do they go from here? Because the trajectory that they're on is they will always be a feeder club in essence. They won't, like, as in, no one forced them to go and get Walter Mate. No one forced them to go and get Visa, right? But they ended up having to get those players because so many players rejected them. And now we're seeing so many players that were staples of being their higher echelon players are leaving them.
Well, it gave you the little clue into what they had in mind, that they wanted Ekitike before they sold Isak. They wanted to have both of them the way we've got both of them. And they were planning bigger things, but I think they've got to accept their place in the food chain, which is hard for them because after they got bought out by the Saudis, they thought, here we go. Like, it's going to be like a Chelsea thing where we just take off. But it isn't, because they've changed the rules, like, to make sure a rich man can't just come in and go boss. And they've got to accept that that's the reality, that they're always going to be a feeder club and they're always going to have to miss out on targets and refocus it, just like we've missed out on Diamandi. It's not just them. We miss out on players quite a bit, like Chelsea had us off for Caicedo and Lavia. We've lost out to other clubs for players over the years, and it continues to this day because Diamandi is going to PSG rather than come to Liverpool. So, it's not exclusive to Newcastle fans to lose out and have to target somebody else, but they're going to have to get used to that. And what I probably would say is don't target such lofty players. Sounds bad, because, you know what I'm saying? It sounds bad, but I mean, they've got to accept that, like, and you know,
you just basically said know your role, know your place, Newcastle.
Well, yes, I was intrigued by the name True Geordie, this fella, because like that sort of infers that there are a sinister cabal of fake Geordies knocking about in Newcastle, and that this guy is like the genuine article. How you are the true Geordie, I'm not quite sure. Maybe you've got to be born like really close to the River Tyne or some shit like while it's foggy. I don't quite know, but the name intrigued me.
How about this then? They just got 100 million for Tonali, right? Maybe they're going to get umpteen more for Bruno G. They got what 85 million for, was it 85 million or 75 or 75 million for Gordon, right? They should be flush with cash, Newcastle. Now they've got to make themselves be a target for talent.
For me,
I'll give you a scenario. Can I give you a scenario, Lee? And I'm going to see both of you can play sporting director. You guys out in chat can play sporting director too. Because I know this player is a player that some of you really want to get rid of. I'm not in that camp, but still. Would you sell Cody Gakpo for, let's say, because Newcastle has inquired, they have put feelers out there or are monitoring Cody Gakpo's position. I think Newcastle would be a good move for Cody Gakpo, to be honest with you, because I think he get automatic playing time, and I think that it'd be a team that he could feature in. But would you sell Cody Gakpo for, let's say we sell him for 80 million? Would you sell him for 80 million? But would you have to get his replacement, or not his replacement, but would you have to get a forward in first before you make that acquisition? If they're saying, hey, we want Cody, 80 million's on the table, but there's no prospects of Barcola. There's no prospects of any of these other big name signatures. And we might have a situation where, yes, selling Cody is one thing, but then that leaves us down to having to rely on, bringing up an academy talent or utilizing the forwards that we have now, and not maybe bringing in a high profile, player in that role. Are you making that acquisition?
I mean, I'd snap their hands off for 80 million. I probably would for 60. No offense to Cozy after the season he's had. I'd be just as happy keeping him.
You got it. Okay, so before we go down,
you can get a fee like
80
that.
80 million is more likely. It's amazing how we will discount our own players in a market where we've just seen Elliot Anderson make 116 million for Forest. In a market where we just saw Gordon, who has about as many goals as Cody Gakpo. Okay, we just saw him get a 85 or something million pound move to a pretty cash-strapped Barcelona. Yet we want to discount our players. Come on, people.
Well, I think we're basing it on the season Cody had last time out, and some of that was on Slot's shoulders, like, for just the slow way we were playing. And, what I mean? He was getting no joy. Like, was he? And his confidence plummeted when he got chances that he buried before. He would have buried before. He was missing them. And that's, the team just weren't performing, and he was one of the biggest casualties. Him and Salah, I'd say, on the wings, they didn't look great last season. A lot of it's down to our thing. So there is, there's still, a train of thought like that. Iraola coming in and changing the style of play a bit, like would help him out. But if he would accept to move to Newcastle to be regular and to to go somewhere where they love him, like, and he'd be regular compared to fighting for his place at Liverpool, then I'd be okay with that. But I'd be really okay if we keep him. It just depends. Well, it would be handy if they wanted him, because it'd shut their bloody fans up. Like, if the club wanted them and the manager, whoever wanted them, sporting director wanted them, and they managed to get him off us, like, shut their fans up a bit, that they got a player off us for the change. So there's that aspect of it.
Okay. How about for you?
For me, this Gakpo thing, I knew who would have a decent World Cup. They got knocked out. We had a decent World Cup. Had bad news as well at the World Cup. I really like Cody Gakpo as a human. I think he's a top lad, top professional. And you can read how he's feeling in the way he looks on his face. He's a grin type of guy. He likes to grin, smile. But when the things ain't going right on the pitch, you can see in his face, he looks serious, man. And I think that's all it is, bro. If he stays, he stays. Because we need wingers. Okay, if he goes, he goes. And if we get out 80 million fee, I doubt that very much. Like, for me, 60. Yeah, but I think...
let me say this too, by the way. For those... Gordon had 6 goals and 2 assists for Newcastle last season in the Premier League. Cody Gakpo had 7 goals and 5 assists.
Okay. Send him to Barcelona, remember, for 105 million. Look, man, Gakpo is one of them, bro. I ain't gonna do an agenda against him like a lot of people fucking do, and against McAllister. And them two guys were really, along with Virgil and Salah, the main characters of us winning that Premier League 2 seasons ago. People have hard times off the field, and what happens on the field, they can't get their feet together. It happens, people. I don't like it when fans go after their own players after a poor 90 minutes. Probably scored a hat-trick the week before or a couple of weeks ago, whatever, you know what I mean, bro? It's just too much now. It's like, and they feel the heat, these players. They go on Twitter, type their name in, Gakpo, bang. Gakpo's this and he's that. Send him to Forest, send him to here, I don't know, whatever. You know what I mean, bro? It's like, they just have to type that in Twitter, Instagram, and you'll see the amount of bullshit people write about these players, man. And they read it, bro. Come on.
Again, Gakpo had a higher creative output for our team last year, with 48 chances created to Gordon's 24.
Double. There you go.
He had double. He created double the chances, had more goals, more assists, but Gordon had a better season. Okay, that makes sense. Sometimes it's just a matter of like just saying like, I get it. Sometimes I'm not saying people have agendas in the chat, but I'm just saying sometimes I think the overwhelming conversations or contempt towards a player can sometimes creep in and not give you a very like justified like vision of what the player truly does offer. Cody is a good player. He goes off to Holland, like you were just saying, and does well in the World Cup. You know, most people say when you do well in the World Cup, it gives you a boost to possibly getting a move. You know, and yet he had a good World Cup. He had certainly an off year considering the year he had previously. I'm not saying he didn't, but I am saying that he's not a bad player. And I think that I don't know. I just think that some people are just kind of like so against him that he's not like, as no matter what he does, we should pay someone to take him off our hands, much less get value for him. You know, I don't know. I just
but you look at. But it's what you're saying, bro.
And I don't want to hear about the Gordon crap. And Gordon scored what four of those goals for Gordon in the Champions League, where 3 of them, but most of them were in that one game where he's like he's pushing players away from being able to take penalty kicks, dude. So he can like pad his stats.
He got 2 assists in the World Cup the other day, bro. He ain't that bad. I got no problem with Gordon. I think, you know what? Fair play to him.
I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with Gordon. It's just that, like, well, maybe I do.
Yeah, you do. You and Lee.
I just don't like the guy.
This ain't no Gordon.
He's a good player, but it's just.
Look, bro, at the end of the day, I think them goals he got in the Champions League, because Helios put the stats up there. He got 17 goals, 5 assists all season and that. He got a lot of goals in the Champions League, and I think that was the golden light that Barcelona got interested. He's like, ooh, an English winger.
Yeah.
Doing that well. Well, you know what? We'll take him, and there you go. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Newcastle were very easy, just like, there you go, bro. See you later. It's like, okay. Where's the noise from the fans? How can you let him go and all that? Very, very weird. I never heard nothing from no Newcastle fan about that move there. It was out of the blue, bang. Gordon's at Barcelona. I was like, Lord of mercy, what's happening? You know? Yeah, and it's true, Eric. It's like too many fans putting boot in. Like, they got all fuck all else to do, you know? Instead of putting the boot in 24/7 because they got social media, and they just try to encourage or try a different sort of way to find a solution in anything, you know. A lot of people just think chucking everything off the table is the way to do it. Come on, man. I've seen a lot of content creators do that. They would diss their own players and this and that. I'm like, yo, this ain't the old school Liverpool way. You don't do that, you know. If a player's not great, we'll say he's not great. He shouldn't be playing for Liverpool, and we'll leave it as that, you know.
But yet, you know, obviously, they're getting some decent play in a sense of how the return they're getting for their players has been decent, though. What is it that I wanted to bring up? I had Stefan Bajčetić in the thumbnail. So before we end the show, I wanted to definitely talk about Stefan Bajčetić. Because apparently Stefan Bajčetić is about to is going to be heading for the exit. You know, Isak may have found some rhythm, which is cool and great, but like and you know, Bradley Barcola might be also the major headline, but under all those headlines is the sheer fact that we might have seen the last of Bajčetić. And I think that's a shame, because I think Bajčetić was possibly that DM that a lot of us have, or a lot of those out there have been clamoring for. That could have been his role for this team. Do you agree with that?
I've probably seen him more as a number 8. I think, because we've never seen enough of this guy, bro. I was just saying that turn he did at Villa Park, he just turned with his body and went with the ball. He just opened the whole pitch for himself. Like, yo, only good players can do that. And I was like, I can't wait to see this guy develop. And I don't know which injury did him, because he's nowhere to be seen for the last 3 years, bro. It's like, come on, man.
Last 2.5, 3 years.
But I seen a video about 2 weeks ago where he was training at AXA and saying getting ready for the new season or something like that. I was like, well done, bro. Good luck, and yeah, man. I feel sorry for him.
Mm-hmm. It's tough though, because unfortunately for him, he had momentum. He could have been looked at as being a potential starter, especially when Fabinho was starting to be phased out of this lineup. Excuse me. You can make an argument that we were phasing in Bajčetić to be that guy. But now with Gravenberch, Dom, you could argue maybe even Curtis or certainly McAllister, you know, and maybe even Trainioni, you know. Now all of a sudden that midfield is pretty stacked. You bring back a Harvey Elliott. where does Stefan Bajčetić fit into this midfield? It's not impossible.
At the end of the day, go on.
But it's not easy. That's what I'm trying to say. Go ahead.
Look, if he comes when Iraola goes in starts training and everything, and he comes in firing, yo, I'm ready, this, that, and the other, and he's fit, and he gets a couple of pre-season games as well. But remember last time when that happened, when a few of the lads had a few good pre-season games, and Arnie Slot and that got rid of them all last season, remember? So for me, Bajčetić, man, is one of them ones. I think a lot of fans all wished him well, you know. Same with Jadon Danns. Not really, he's been there, but not there. So injuries are pretty. It's a mad. That's why I had time for McAllister last season. I know he had a groin operation in the summer, and he wasn't great because I know he was injured. So I didn't go on top of him and say, you weren't great and this. Nah, man, injuries, it's hard. The last thing a player needs is an injury. So it isn't like he's doing something that's annoying us. So that's why he's playing rubbish. Because when you get injured, bro, your mind is a little bit different. You're not 100% at it or whatever it is. So for Bajčetić, I wish he can get fit. And maybe Iraola says, you know what? Stay here, don't go nowhere. We'll see how the season gets on. If that happens, I'll be so happy.
So you're keeping him. That wasn't even an option.
I'll go, yeah. For me, if he's fit, bro, as long as he's fit, ready to play and train and get on with his career now, I'll be like, bro, we'll give you a season, no problem. And then make a decision next season. But now, if he's that ready to go Spain, what's he going to do there? Sit in the treatment table or what? So if we're selling him, that means he's ready to play, bro. Because you're not going to sell an injured player to someone where his career's already done before he even started, are you? Really? No club's they're gonna do their homework, aren't they? So if he's ready to go Spain, three clubs are interested in him. Helio's saying, I'll give him a season, man. I just want to see him play one season for us, pretty fit. That'd be great.
Yeah. Maybe it is Red Armchair supporter. What Eric said, but including a buyback clause and a sell-on clause, that would be the ideal situation.
That's cool. Like if Bajčetić goes,
that would mean, but that would also mean that he's probably going to a club that isn't necessarily got a lot of, has a lot of like
competition.
I was gonna say I don't say credentials, but like doesn't have like as in they're like a middle of the pack style. I don't know, like a Valencia or something or some team that's not necessarily.
Not necessarily. Yeah, he could do better than Las Palmas, where he ended up last time on loan after Salzburg went sour and Pep Linders was sacked. Because there was other Spanish clubs looking at him, after he had a good half season for Las Palmas. He was linked with Villarreal, I think it was. Might have even been Valencia. It was one of them that began with V, and there's only two that I can think of. I don't think it was Valladolid. It was either, I think it was Villarreal he was linked with when he was playing well. They were interested in having him on for a full season's loan, but then he got injured, and things. But he's always been talented, and I'm hoping that he can be fit and that Iraola has a look at him and thinks can use him a bit, you know what I mean? He'll come in handy because he's got talents and we know he can tackle and that and pass the ball. He can do most things pretty well. Stefan Bajčetić, it's a shame what happens, but again, that's football. It happens a lot. Done it to all clubs. Players get
Rayo Vallecano. Rayo Vallecano was the team.
Okay.
You said the V. It was a V.
Yeah. I forgot about Vallecano. I thought of Valladolid, but
Sevilla, Rayo Vallecano, and Elche. I think I spelled.
Elche.
Are the teams. Or maybe even if you were to stay in England.
Track of them in as much as I'd look at the Liverpool Echo website, which is the Liverpool newspaper, and it'd give you an update on them every few weeks. in the football bit, like it was sat there, to say like Shessett's doing well, and this fella's said this about him, this fella's said this about him, and he seemed to be going okay there at that time, like and getting not rave reviews, but yeah, people were saying, he's a good player, and he didn't look out of place, even though that Las Palmas team was struggling badly to stay up. He was one of their better players in that second half of the season once he came in. So I'd like to think that if he could be fit, Iraola could find a use for him, because we can't have enough midfielders, because we definitely didn't have enough last bloody season. We didn't have any alternative to Gravenberch and McAllister, really. We've seen Dom playing in the pivot, we've seen Jones playing in the pivot, but none of it worked for me. We just weren't gritty and, I don't know, competitive enough in midfield last season.
Do you think, I'll go as far as to ask you this question then, do you think we should move away from the pivot and go back to a 4-3-3? Don't rush to
No, I would like to see that, yeah. To just have the one guy like under Klopp, like just have like Fabinho or Hendo there under Klopp.
I know that means that we would have to
flanking them, like, left and right. Yeah, I'd be up for that, mate. If we could rediscover our what's the thing, Austin Powers mojo. If we could rediscover our mojo, then that'd be brilliant. If we could just by tinkering with the system and doing away with the pivot, which Arnie likes, and just have one guy flanked either side by the other two advanced of them, like, yeah. I'd be into that. Sure, if it worked, yeah, I'd be up for it if it worked. It's just got to be better than last season. The midfield was so shit last season. It was probably the worst thing about it, because the season before we were great and all the plaudits Ryan got and Mac got and Dom got, and then last season we were bloody abject in midfield, and it shows. It shows time and again just how off it we were in midfield last season, and we've got to change that. It's got to be sorted, like, one way or the other. We've got to have fresh ideas to get us on the front foot, instead of what Arnie was doing last season. He was letting teams come to Anfield and then just sitting off, seeing how they played for half an hour to 45 minutes, and then trying to win it in the second half. Something like bollocks that, mate. Teams come to Anfield, try and get at them straight away, get after them, attack them, put them under pressure. Don't let them sit off and gain confidence and gain a foothold like we did last season, because it was bloody painful to watch. It was painful to watch. I mean, Milner coming back at 40 for Brighton and bossed the midfield, mate. He looked like the best midfielder on the pitch in that game. It certainly wasn't one of our lads, I know that much.
Like, for me, like, a lot of lads are saying, like, you don't really play a 4-3-3. I'd rather go with 4-2.
He does, actually.
4-2-1-3.
Most people don't recognize that. It's not that he doesn't play a 4-3-3. It's more so he plays a 4-2-3-1 that morphs into a 4-3-3 depending on what the circumstances are.
I'd rather do the 4-2-1-3. Yeah.
In possession, he runs a 3-2-5, and out of possession, he'll do sometimes a 4-2-4. He'll do a 4-1-3-2. Like, in his midfield dynamics that he likes to utilize, he utilizes a 4-3-3 with the structure sometimes of his midfield, because it ends up being more productive for him. But again, it's just a matter of a lot of no formations are really that stagnant when it comes to a lot of the cases. When it comes to this team, it's not going to be a stagnant. It's going to be it's why a lot of these players are going to be so interchangeable. That's why we're looking for such interchangeable players. But it is. But yeah, there is a. You go to, like, this is Anfield analysis. This is Anfield analysis. You can look at what Iraola does if you don't believe what I'm saying is the way that he plays his style. But all the same, what I was going to say is we're at hour 40. Big time is one. What's the score now? It's 1-0, by the way. at halftime of this game. I said I will let you guys get to the game. I know that maybe we might have some Cape Verde fans out there. I don't know, maybe. I don't know. I did want to go and watch this game though, because I wanted to see what I haven't really been able to see a lot of McAllister, and I want to see what McAllister's doing in this World Cup. I want to see if he's making a real testament of, getting his swagger back. And also, I want to get to.
Well, he's got a job on his hands to come back from that rubbish season last season. Because, like Iraola said before, I've not seen the stats, but I just knew instinctively they'd be awful. His stats last season was shocking. I
didn't see the Hyler statistics, but yeah.
Yeah, but I will be interested to see how he can do for his country, and if he looks like he's maybe on the comeback trail of being the McAllister we knew and loved before last season. Again, he was another casualty of a badly shit season when nobody really came out with much credit. Maybe Szoboszlai did, because he played three different positions, and done well. But apart from that, most of them were substandard last season. There's reasons for that. We know this, but it will be interesting to see what McAllister can do to further stake a claim to stay in the Liverpool side under Iraola. And that'll be interesting to watch once the World Cup's finished and they're back in training and all this palaver, and we can have friendlies to see what he does in his first friendlies, what he fancies as his lineup. It'll be interesting to see. Mind you, the World Cup players won't play that many friendlies, will they? A lot of them. Does he be resting, won't he, when we start our friendlies? Because it'll be with his skeleton squad, I think, won't it, when the first friendlies start? It's usually the way, I think.
But a lot of players have gone back home. Isaac, Virgil, Gravenberch, Gapco, Wirtz. So majority of the players have gone yard. There's a few left. McAllister. I'm trying to think who else is there left then. That's a good question. I think McAllister's the only one left.
Who's you'll never guess who scored for Argentina, by the way, in that game.
Yeah, Messi.
Yeah, of course.
Still doing it. I always did prefer him to Ronaldo, skill-wise, because Messi, it was like a natural thing. Ronaldo honed the skills he had and made them even better, which made him formidable and fearsome. It was fucking brilliant, Ronaldo, no doubt there. I just preferred Messi as a player. I like that subtlety and just the way he moves and all that. I preferred him.
He is the only player in the history of the World Cup to score in every stage of the World Cup. I think that's the statistic he holds. Well,
that's big. That's a big one. That for the World Cup statistic.
He's scored in the group stage, quarters, semis, and the final. All in one World Cup at least, not in different World Cups or anything like that. But
I like that Compton, Long Beach, Ingleford. Right down there, man. Wicked.
There's, it's a fun one too. Let's see if you guys get this one too. I saw it. What's the question? Hold on. I saw them. They kind of struggled for this one. But I wanted to see if you guys could get it. I'll give you a fun little trivia question at the end here. Hold on. All right. So on their show, they had Roy and Gary Neville and I forget her name. There's the woman, she's a former player too. She's on that show. Is it Sue Smith?
I don't know. That was just a guess. She's nearly a scouter. Sounds a bit like
no.
I
meant.
I think you're on about Dowie, no?
Is it Dowie?
Used to play for Liverpool. Women
No, he's on the show with Gary Neville and.
Oh, Alex Scott. I
think it is. No. It's just tall. I don't know what her name is. What's her name, man? It's not Kenny, no. Kenny looks half asleep half the time. Like you could tell she's just doing a big flight, 20 hours. She comes on the TV. Is it Alex Morgan? Could be. I think it is Alex Morgan, Kevin. I think it is. Alex Morgan? No, I'll tell you now. 1 second. What's the name of that show, bro? Do you remember?
It's connected to the overlap.
Overlap, that's the one. Yeah.
I found out what
they have an actual. They have an actual show. Oh, sorry, I was gonna say they have an actual show though that they sit down. It's like, Jamie's on the show sometimes.
Jill Scott.
It's Jill Scott, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it is? Yeah. I didn't think it was Alex Morgan. That's a U.S. player, isn't it?
I don't know.
Anyhow, they had a question where they were all sitting around the table and they were asked this question. They were doing like trivia, and it was a funny one because they struggled for some reason. I don't understand why, but can you name in order the 7 largest stadiums in football, in Premier League football today?
The top, how many was that?
Can you name the 7 largest stadiums
in England?
In England, yes.
Okay, you got United, Tottenham.
But you got to go in order. You have to go in order.
Oh, you ruined that. And let's go. I think have United got more than Tottenham? I think United, Tottenham. After that is...
I know, so you were going to say Wembley too, because Wembley is the biggest.
Oh, is Wembley in that?
But not including Wembley.
Not including Wembley, okay.
Wembley wasn't a part of their list, at least. I know Wembley, you're right. I'm sure supporter is the biggest, but not including that. Can you name the 7?
I can
it was kind of weird too, because they made it the numbers. Their list isn't the list that I saw. Like, as in their list wasn't the list that I saw, and it was a pretty new episode because they had Hills Dickinson. Oh, I just gave one away, but they had Hill Dickinson in the list. Yes. Hill Dickinson isn't in the top 7.
Mm-hmm.
Hill Dickinson's number 8, but I guess it is top 7 because that's including Wembley. So it is. I gave away one of the answers. I'm sorry.
Okay, let's go. I'll rather just give you one, and then we can put them in order after.
Yeah.
Emirates, Anfield.
Usually use the chat for your help, Dev.
Newcastle.
Old Trafford, number 1. You got that one.
Yeah.
What's number 2?
Tottenham for me.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Third, I'm just trying to think how much that Emirates one is. Let's go Emirates then.
The Emirates is not third. Or it's not third.
Okay, let's go Anfield then.
You know what? Because I don't think they didn't use this one too. There is another. I know one of these other ones should be actually number 2. But for some reason, maybe because they don't use all of the seating at this one stadium to pack it out. I'm saying Villa Parks, the Beanie Hill. Okay. So you're going in. So Old Trafford's number 1, definitely. 75,000 is what Old Trafford is. Number 2.
Tottenham.
I thought would be Tottenham. On their list, I believe it was Tottenham. However, there is another team that you probably wouldn't have thought of having the second biggest stadium in England.
West Ham.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. Yeah, West Ham, yeah.
But they don't use all their seating, I think. Maybe that's the reason why. But they have 68,000 seats in that stadium.
Okay.
And there's no way that
Olympics.
West Ham has 68,000 people showing up for their games.
No, it's a travesty that they've got a bigger capacity than us. But they got their ground for nothing, didn't they? They didn't have to build it. It was built for them, and then they moved into it. Which Man City, of all ballsy clubs, had the same thing. When the Commonwealth Games was in Manchester, Man City's ground was built for them as part of that. Eastlands, it was called. And for it to see at that time, they haven't been bought out, had they, like, at that time. But, of all the clubs to get a free stadium, like Man City, money bags would have to be, one. But as I said, they didn't have no money when they got it.
Wembley is, and everyone, and I saw Sheba just said, and Red Armchair Sports said earlier, Wembley is the biggest, but I know that. But no team plays regularly at Wembley, right? There's no team that Wembley Stadium is their home stadium. So that's why I said in the Premier League, not stadium in England. I just said in the Premier League. Anyway, Old Trafford 1, West Ham number 2, number 3 is Spurs, right? Number 4 is what?
Anfield.
Yes, there you go. Number 4 is Anfield. Number 5 is
Emirates.
Yes. Number 6
is either St James's or Man City's ground.
Which one are you going with?
Let's go St James's.
Oh,
I think it's St James.
No, it's not. It's Man City's. I was on a run there.
They just built something. They just built another tier or something. They just built.
Yeah, they have actually.
Well, for years, St James's was one of the biggest after they redone it when they got money. Bloody years ago when Keegan had that good team, they redone it and it was like, I think it was the biggest one after United because there was no, and the other ones then didn't exist. Like, and ours was still 44 then. So it was for a long time the second biggest ground in the country, St James's.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's City, Man City, then Newcastle, then Villa Park. I will go.
No. You got to get this one. You've got to get this one. Number 7 is the easiest one out of all of them.
Oh, Everton.
Yeah, because I said it. I said the answer.
Yeah. And then after them?
That's the only reason why it's easy. It goes Hill Dickinson Stadium, then it goes St. James Park. Then I saw someone say it in the chat. Then it goes Stadium of Light.
Yeah.
And then it goes Villa Park, actually. I was surprised by that.
Okay.
Villa Park was that large of a park. Or that I didn't think it was bigger than I didn't think Villa had a bigger stadium than Chelsea. But then again, I know Chelsea wants to get a bigger stadium simply because they don't like the grounds or they don't like the confines of the bridge, really. But yeah, that's how it goes. It goes then it's Chelsea, then Sheffield Wednesday, then Leeds United, and then surprisingly, we get into some teams that I would have thought wouldn't have been in where they're at. Because like there's other teams that have not been in a lot of teams that have big stadiums. It's been a long time since they've been in the Premier League, at least. For instance, Middlesbrough, Derby County, Cardiff City, Sheffield United, where they've been in Premier League, but and then your team, Coventry, and then Southampton, and then Leicester. No, Leicester is before the Molineux. It's just before the Molineux. Yep. Very interesting. So I got Blackburn. There's a lot of championship teams before
big stadium, haven't they?
What's that?
Then, Cardiff got a big stadium, haven't they, in the Championship? Because obviously we went there, didn't we? When Wembley was being redone, which Wembley needed redoing, they took the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
32,000 is the capacity of Cardiff City. Big team, big stadium.
How much?
It's just 32,000.
What, the stadium? No.
Mate, when we went there to play Arsenal in the cup final time, whenever it was, when we played, it was 2001. Yeah, it was at Cardiff, wasn't it? The final. No,
what's the name of that stadium, Lee?
Normal now.
It's just
normal now.
Cardiff City Stadium.
Okay. Because there was the old stadium, so that
the old stadium had a different name.
I'm sure it was called the Millennium Stadium or something like that.
Something like that. I think
it
was.
I thought it was I thought it was about 70,000, 80,000.
Yeah, there you go. Norman is rightly Millennium.
Yeah, that's why they took the FA Cup final there. Why Wembley was being redone for a few years, and it was a good place because we have fun there.
Oh, yeah, the number that's on here says it's at 32,000.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, Cardiff is for 30. Did I say 32? 33,000. Excuse me, 33,000.
Well, from that, I'm assuming that they don't play at that stadium where the FA Cup finals were held. When Wembley was, they must have been there because it's too big.
Yeah. Yeah, the Cardiff City Stadium. It's also where that's where the Wales national football team plays too. It has a seating capacity of 33,280 people.
I've actually I think I've been outside that Millennium Stadium because I've been Cardiff a few times. Yeah, I've definitely seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen the San Siro. I've seen the Bayern Munich Stadium. For me, Bayern Munich Stadium is mad. But the San Siro is the one that made my eyes water. It was just like, whoa. A big Terminator.
No, Kevin, I did not go for the 250th. And I did not go out for it. That's tomorrow anyway. It's tomorrow. It's the big birthday for this country. Yeah. But I just found it interesting that there's a lot of championship teams that have bigger stadiums than Premier League teams.
Oh yeah,
Bournemouth, bro. They've got 10 people. You have to bring their own sofas.
Oh no, I know.
You know what I mean?
Selhurst Park's 26,000. Fulham is low on the
Well, the name makes me laugh a bit with Bournemouth's one, Vitality, because it sounds like margarine to me. I always think of a tub of margarine.
Well, I think it's something. Completely different, to be honest with you. But that's all.
Yeah. There's one called Vitality, and Brentford's one made me laugh because it was called the Community Stadium, which to me sounded like it probably had a Citizens Advice Bureau there and everything, and a careers advice officer for school leavers, one of them bloody type gaffs,
Yeah, my mum's kicked me out. Oh, you can stay here tonight.
Yeah. Where's the citizens' advice? I've come here to the Community Stadium to experience some community.
Oh, the stadiums in the US, man, for the World Cup. I mean, wow. Yeah, man. The Dallas one.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they chose the right stadium for the final. The New Jersey one. I think they should have chose the LA one. Mm-hmm.
The reason why they didn't choose LA is because this is my opinion. No, it's just more of, I think there's a more diverse group of people in New York area than there is in LA.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around. I thought in LA they had like really diverse.
No.
Well, it is, but there's more Hispanics, isn't there, than anything? I think I would be right in saying.
There's more Mexicans that live in the LA, California area. And that gives off the impression that it's diverse like that. Yes, it is diverse in the sense like that way. But you don't meet many Dominicans or Puerto Ricans that live in. There's not that big of a community in the LA region. But if you go to New York City, I mean, they've got their own.
You'll find every nation on earth, basically in New York, like somewhere.
Yeah, there's like you go to
Little Italy,
Astoria, Queens. You're dealing with you're dealing with all Chinatown, the whole Nikes. You'll have there's so many different diverse, and I think it was just just think that it would have been weird to have it not be remotely connected to the biggest city in our country.
Wall Street, all that, yeah.
Or not even Wall Street. I meant just the biggest city, meaning that's the most populated city in America is New York City. And I mean it is hands down, I mean by millions and millions of people larger than other cities.
How many million are in New York approx?
I want to say there's 11 or something. Well, I'll get you a number. Hold on.
My original childhood obsession with America was based around New York because that's where Spider-Man came from. Now, I'm old enough now to know that Spider-Man doesn't exist anymore, but I was always taken with New York for that reason.
Yeah, it's I said 11. It's 8.5. Basically around 8.5 million. But but LA has half that. Less than half.
Okay.
So that's why it's LA has they have close to 4 million basically. They have I just looked it up, 3.878. So it's really close to 4 million. But that's the thing. It's these places are to not have it in the biggest city in America, and then also and don't get it twisted. That stadium isn't in New York; it's in New Jersey, but it's close enough that that's where they play their games for the football. New York Giants and the New York Jets playing that stadium.
It is, for most people, the first city you would think of when you say America would be New York, would be the first city you would say, or one of them, definitely. And we know it's by no means the only large city, but it just has so much pull to it. It wasn't New Amsterdam originally, wasn't it?
I think New York City also just represents more quote unquote America than. I know I'm going to probably get totally yelled at for saying this, but I just think New York represents America a little bit more than LA does.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's a little bit. New York's more of a melting pot when it comes to people than LA.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying LA is not a beautiful city. I want to go back, so that's why I was expressing that. But yeah, that's just how it is.
Remember what Tom Cruise says in that film Collateral, where he's the hitman? He said it's too disconnected and sprawled out. I don't like it. Basically what he was saying. So, but I believe it is very big, in it. I mean, the size of LA as a city compared to a city like Liverpool is just, do you know what I mean?
You could say I would go as far as to say that maybe even Chicago is more diverse than LA. I know that sounds weird, but I think that maybe Chicago is a little more diverse. Chicago has an incredible That's why when people were like, oh, I was saying Robert Lewandowski is going to go play for the Chicago Fire in the MLS, why it made sense. And oh my goodness, by the way. 1-1, people.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant.
Yeah. But why I was saying about Chicago is that, like, there is a Eastern European presence in Chicago is fierce. There are a lot of, like, Polish people in Chicago. In Chicago, there's a lot of Polish people.
Mm-hmm. I like that in The Wire, that one that was to do with the Polish people. Remember in The Wire, the second season or something of The Wire, and there was that guy.
Yeah. That's because there's a I don't want to say, I don't know if I can say the name. I don't know if it's derogatory or not. Now that I think about it, but there is a ethnic. The name is ethnically connected. No, it's not. I don't think it's a bad word or something. I don't know if I want to chance it, but the name is associated to Polish people, as in they've got their own little, like, town. It's called.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Tough for the Poles. The 20th century, the Poles were placed in a very precarious position between the Nazis and the communists, like, and between the two of them ideologies, the country was carved up, like, for the best part of the 20th century. So, they are a hardy, plucky people, like, who know what it is to be oppressed, if you want to say like that.
Yeah. Look, keep hitting the wrong button. Before we bounce, there was something I wanted to certainly share, or at least talk about. Oops, I might be frozen for a second. Sorry about that. Let me bring this back over here. Okay. And what I did want to talk about before we bounce is that I think there are moments that remind us football is sometimes more than just what we see, in the sense of, like, it's more than just the results. It's more than just, some of the, the transfers and this and that, and, yada, yada. Far more than that, I think. I think that what we saw in that Portugal game is testament to it. There was a lot of different things. I didn't see the very beginning of that game so I didn't see if they did the balloon, the balloon thing that people were. I think Hyler was saying that or something. They did, but I do know that they did They did all join, to show Diogo or Jota's jersey at the end of the game. And why it's important, because today, July 3rd, marks 1 year since Liverpool Football Club lost Jota and his brother Andre in that tragic car accident that I think really, really hit a nerve for a lot of people, to recognize how quick and how quick life can come at you, and possibly even leave. Jota will never simply be remembered by statistics. I think he's always going to be connected with his smile, with his connection to gaming, to his abilities on the pitch, but also with his love for his family, with the brotherhood that he brought to the team, and just with the pure love for this club that he had. I think made a massive, massive connection to a lot of us. He won trophies with us. But he also won our hearts as well, I thought. They did this memorial was just announced. It was beautiful things. It is now the club's Forever 20 memorial that stands outside of Anfield as a permanent reminder that, I guess, while players might leave the pitch, they might even leave this earth. They are always going to be with us, no matter what. It doesn't mean that they never leave the heart, I guess, is truly what it happens when it comes to particular players like a Jota. It is a very, very touching memorial for him. I know that if you look at it from different ways, it makes different. It creates different images. But I'm happy to see that they presented. Excuse me. They did this and presented something that is always going to be a part of the grounds, and it's always going to be something that can remind you that Jota was not only a part of this team; he will forever be a part of this team.
It was devastating, wasn't it? I couldn't believe it. JK was the first one who found out that, because you put it in the WhatsApp, JK, and I got up like in the morning because he looked what's and JK put the thing on, and so I looked into it, and it was true. And it was devastating, wasn't it? Like, because you just don't expect things like that in football. I thought Mourinho's eulogy was touching, because Mourinho said it had happened in Porto to the young. And he went on and won the league the next season. I mean, different club, different times, whatever. But like, it was a nice eulogy for Mourinho, and he's gone well up in my estimation in recent years. Jose, I've come to like him in a way that I never did previously. He was a great pantomime villain as an opposition boss, especially at Chelsea, but even still at United. But I got more respect for him doing that, because it was such a devastating, horrible thing. It just come, literally right out the blue, as they say. Come out of nowhere. And he's such a quiet lad as well, Diogo. We knew nothing about him until this happened, and then we learned a little bit about his family and that, like, and he didn't like the spotlight. He was all right talking to cameras. It just wasn't part of his thing to do it often, to come out and talk to the cameras. Like, it's quite private, wasn't he? And it was touching, like, it was sad, actually, when you found stuff out and that, like, because it shows a picture of them when they were first together as a couple. And Diogo looked no more than 14 on it, like, I would say. He must have been about 17 or 18, but he looked about 14, because he's only a little guy in his face. He looked like, you know what I mean, like a schoolboy. He looked like. It was really sad, but, you just got to... And I suppose it did affect some of the players. Like, I've seen a lot of rival fans go, don't be going on about that. And you're like, well, yeah, I can see where they're coming from. But, nobody was blaming it for our bad season. It was just a horrible thing that happened right before the season started. Do you know what I mean?
I don't understand why people want to take away your ability to, not only show the true memory of the player, the importance of the player, the impact and the important and the brilliance of the player and how it is missed. But I mean, like, I don't know, it's just one of those things where it's weird, like, as in, it's like every time someone brought it up, it's like, oh, you can't use that as a way to, you don't use it as an excuse. No one was making it as an excuse. It's more so, it's a factual portion of life. People are affected by loss, and to act as though everyone should just, like, brush it off their shoulders and act like it has no effect is silly and immature, I think.
I think a lot of the things that people not forget, but like rival fans don't acknowledge, is like his brother went as well in the same accident, and like his mum, she has a few kids, I think daughters as well, but they were their two sons, and as far as I know, they were their only two sons, the shot and mum. So to lose both of them in one go was just, beyond awful. Like, when it's almost beyond words, how shocking that must have been for his mum. But,
yeah, it's not easy. Not losing a child is never easy, but no matter what age they are.
Yeah. I think I was touched by Neves. I remember the Club World Cup at the beginning of this season.
He
was playing for some Saudi club, and like before it started, he was in tears, like he couldn't hold it back. And it was nice to see, that like that emotion, because it was that, it is that serious. This is a lad he'd known since he was near eye to a grasshopper, suddenly not there anymore, like. Yeah. And it was touching. It was nice to see, from another footballer. Like,
yeah, it is something where it makes you really feel the way you should, I think, about football, like guys, and it makes you kind of like sometimes it makes you take a step back a little bit to like not be so like, I don't know, it's you never know what people are going through in their lives, and sometimes it could be difficult. It can be difficult to see how people sometimes are so harsh and so thoughtless, I think, with some of their words. But I think JK, are you back?
Yeah.
Okay. JK wanted to say something before we end.
Yeah, for me, it's been a long year. It seemed like it happened a long time ago. It's just been a year, and for me, probably one of my saddest. a lot of people's saddest day of their lives, because it was just a big surprise. Like no one seen, like you just can't predict that, So it's terrible for his family and everything, and I just hope they're all getting along now, and getting on with life, and and respect to Portugal. They did their thing for Jota, and even see. Man United, they even tweeted respect to Jota and everything, so everyone showed their respect, and that was a good thing to see about this.
Yeah.
Oh, bless, and the woman who made the statue thing there, she did a little documentary where she talks about it. An amazing woman with the way she like uses wax and stuff like that to do her artwork, create like real top creation she made there. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, you can see the number 20 and 30 in there.
He did put his name up on the new FIFA thing or something on the advertising board.
Yeah,
that's nice as well. Seeing as how he like gaming, like
to Diego and Andre. Yep. Oh yeah, I wish them the best.
Yeah, I wish them the best to their family, to everyone who carries their memory on. Obviously, they'll never walk alone, and it should matter, and it does matter to those that really I believe, recognize what it is to be in this Reds family, this Reds community. It should mean something to you. So,
do you remember that European game where he scored 5? I think it was one night in the Champions League. It might have been like Salzburg or something we played, or even Leipzig, but we battered them even though it was them. And he scored 5, I think. Something like, I think it was them that we played.
I know he had a hat trick. I don't know if he scored 5, but
but the 5 must have been. I think the 5 might have been.
We had 5 goals. I think we had 5 goals in that game, maybe, but he had a hat trick. He had 3 of them.
Yeah. There was one where he got 5, and he got injured after he'd scored 5. To my recollection, it was against someone like Midfield, I think it might have been. But he got done and was out for months, like after scoring them goals in the same game. But he couldn't stop scoring that night.
Yeah, he couldn't stop scoring. Yeah.
In the net.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he should have. He should have gotten taken out of that game earlier than he did. Obviously, so unfortunately, he like tweaked in that game. I think he retweaked his. He had an injury and he retweaked it or something like that.
Yeah, he has a lot of different finishes in him, didn't he, Diogo? You can finish where you wanted, like with either foot, with his head, from an angle, straight in front of goal, whatever you like. He could finish from them positions, like when he was on block. And it was great to watch. Like, he was a great player for us in an exciting time.
Well, people, we're going to end on the 20th minute of this second hour. So, in definite honor of our number 20. Big up to everyone that joined us. We will be back tomorrow for a light show tomorrow, because it is the 4th of July here, so it is a little bit more difficult. A lot of festivities going on. But we will certainly do something just to say what is good, people. So until tomorrow, have a good night. And enjoy the end of this game. I know it is still 1-1 in the 70th minute, so enjoy the end of that game. And we will see you soon. Take care. And as always, definitely up the Reds.